Hello and welcome to the channel. So what initially started out in my head as me putting together the Build a VAWT version 2, Bigger and Badder from Christopher's Factory, I've instead decided to do a review because why not? And yeah, let's get into it. So randomly last year, I've just been obsessed with vertical axis wind turbines and I wanted to design my own. I am not a mechanical engineer, not an electrical engineer, not an aerospace engineer, but I just said, hey, I want to do this. But I didn't even know how to hook up a vertical axis wind turbine, as in how do you get the thing up and how to spin, how to have it to spin. I didn't even know how to use bearings. So thank goodness for Christopher's Factory. His Build a VAWT is neat. It's modular, so you can print your individual pieces and stack them in whatever arrangement you want. Well, kind of sort of whatever arrangement you want. And he shows you how to put it together. Well, it's kind of self-explanatory how to put it together once you look at it, right? So thank you for Christopher's Factory, and let's get into the review. Each one of these sections is its own 3D file, and you can print them and put them up and arrange them in whatever order you want. You can have, this is a straight piece. This is I'm guessing a 30mm straight piece. This is, I'm guessing, is 50mm 60-degree angle or something like that, and you can build them and design them however you want. They have male and female pegs so that you can fit them together. Yes, you have male and female ends so you can fit them together however you want. You could either put it like this or like this, and you can have other pieces going up or down depending. That's pretty cool. This video is going to be rough, by the way, because I did not write a script or anything. I just want to wing it. So let's start from the top. This is the top piece. This catches the air at the top, prevents any air from slipping out from the top and creating turbulence. So you get this piece. And this is how you do the bearings. The bearings go in from the bottom. You push them, they fit flat, which is pretty cool. And then you can boop, then you run an 8mm threaded rod through it, and yeah, the bottom one of these ear scoops, which is either this one. This is the Extendo Rocket's bottom in the 3D files. And this is Bearing Rocket bottom in the 3D files. So the difference between Bearing Rocket bottom and the Extendo bottom rocket, whatever, is that this one, the Extendo Rocket, you can add a spacer, and then you can use the Extendo Rocket to create energy. So you can have the bottom, you can put a spacer just so you can get the clearance from here, and then you can put gears which also have the same female hole for the pegs, and then you can do something like this. I'll put it together and show you how to do it. However, Bearing Rocket bottom, which I can put a bearing in if I can find the bearing. Oh yes, here it is. Here's the bearing. You basically press fit the bearings in, and I could do that here, but as you can see, there are no male pegs to go into a spacer, which will eventually go into a gear, which you can use to create energy. So I was a bit confused. I messaged Christopher on Instagram to see, hey, am I missing something? But then while waiting on the response, I basically messaged him like a couple hours ago, and I'm like, wait, No, I figured it out. You can use bearings in these sections here. Actually, yeah, in the straight pieces, you can put bearings. Okay, some of them, you can put the bearings in. I'll probably put up a list right here of, whoops. I'll put up a list right here of all of the files that you can put bearings in. So you don't necessarily have to put bearings in the bottom rockets, whether it be extendo rocket or the base rocket. But if you want to use your vertical axis wind turbine, your build-a-VAWTs, if you want to use your build-a-VAWTs to create electricity, you need this one here. This might be the extendo rocket. Yeah, this is the extendo rocket, which has the male things here. You can use a spacer. The spacer's in my pocket. Oh, I have two spacers. You have different lengths of spacers. So you have this length here. This is probably a 10mm spacer, and this here is probably a 30mm spacer. 30mm spacer. Oh, and I was kind of frugal with the sizes I wanted to build these with, because one, I was not sure how big of a threaded rod I have, and two, well, there is no two. Maybe I did not want to have my printer printing 100mm and 200mm pieces for like an entire day, just to realize that I don't have a threaded rod long enough to fit that big piece, and the bearing and the rocket top, the bearing rocket top, and the extendo rocket bottom. Oh, these names are very fun. Thank you for that. So if you want an angle like this, but you want it longer, instead of printing multiples of these, you can get like a 50mm with this particular twist angle. You could have like 100mm, 200mm. Same for this. If you want like a 200mm or 100mm straight piece, which is just the 3 blades with no twist. If you want the 3 blades with no twist angle, but 100mm, you can print that. I didn't. All right, let's put it together. All right, and this is build-a-VAWT. Very small build-a-VAWT because I don't have a very long threaded rod. But yeah, this is build-a-VAWT. Let me just undo these bolts from my from the threaded rod. Hey, quick side note. You know, I went to the hardware store. I went to 2 hardware stores in my area. Well, I can say their names. I went to Home Depot, 2 Home Depots, and I could not find threaded rods, M8 threaded rods, or bolts, the nuts. I went to 2 stores. I hate living in the ghetto. There were a bunch of ripped bags that were missing nuts, and I didn't even find the threaded rods. So I'll leave a link in the description down below where you can get the M8 threaded rods. This is as big as they get, I think. I didn't quite look hard enough. And a bag for the 2 bolts for about $9. Affiliate links, of course. Okay, so build-a-VAWT has been built. I put the bearings, the 2 bearings, in the very top one, which is bearing top rocket. And I put it in this straight piece here. This, I'm guessing, 50mm straight piece. Put the bearing in here, and then we have the extendo rocket bottom at the bottom. Then I'm going to put the 30mm spacer. Ta-da! Which fits like that. Then I can put my, wow, oh, this works beautifully. have my gear. I hate kind of pushing on these parts so that they fit properly, so they fit flush. I hate that, but I love the tolerances that were made in the first video of the build of VAWT. I think Christopher's Factory said that he prints on a 0.8mm nozzle or 0.6, and basically I appreciate the work that he put into this project. This project is about a year old, a year or two old, with no updates, which is kind of sad. Okay, maybe I'll take this apart, then I'll put you on, and then so this adapter piece, all of the gears have been designed. I'll probably have to, no, I think I can do this. All of the gears have been designed to have this piece cut out of it, and this piece, you put this insert in, and this, the hole on this insert acts as a connector between the gears and the stepper motor. This project was originally designed to use a NEMA 17 stepper, and I have a NEMA 23. Oh no, this is a 17. Okay, my bad. Yeah, NEMA 17 stepper motor. So this is supposed to fit over the shaft, like so. And then, yeah, produce electricity. Oh, sorry. Probably have to do a lot. Oh, what I need is a second camera so I can just get these close-up shots without having to manually zoom in the lens. Yeah, this is dope. Okay, so the build of VAWT has been completed. Let me put this. No. Right. Okay, let me fit this together. All right. So build of VAWT has been completed. Now let's talk about the interfacing with to get all of this to work. To the motor mount. I printed two motor mounts. I printed this out of PLA Plus, which Christopher's Factory recommended. I bought who's this? A Nubic Gray PLA Plus. I know he has multicolored. He has a bunch of different colored PLA Plus. I just bought one gray. I did not want to do, okay, print with this, then unload, then reload, then print with a different color. No, I'm not doing that. And I printed this one. This one is the motor carriage nut up. And this is the motor carriage nut down. I printed them with different orientations. This one I printed like this. I printed just standing up. This one I printed on like this. One thing I found, one issue I found with PLA Plus, well, with my batch of PLA Plus, is that the parts be breaking. I don't know if you can see that. I can't see it from here on the monitor, but there are gaps in the 3D print. Hey, can you focus this close? There are gaps in the 3D print, which I'm not a fan of. At least I know where the failure point is, but not too much a fan of the gaps in the 3D print. And when the thing was cooling down, when the parts were cooling down before I removed it from the 3D printer, they kind of crackle. It's very, very weird. Alright, and this is the motor carriage. This is what you actually zoop. This is what this is for. I have to really need a second camera. Use my affiliate link so I could buy a second camera, please. Yeah, okay, what are we doing now? Yes, the two threaded rods. So how this works, ouch. Oh, I printed this one here, this motor carriage, I printed it like this. And it goes zoop. Oh, I probably did not mention this before, but I'll put it in the video. I actually did time lapses of me printing these parts. This is why you need a script. So this goes something like this. Then you have your motor at the bottom. You have your gear. Give me a second. And here it is. VAWT version 2, bigger and badder, fully assembled. I like it. I like it. Let me just... Oops. Over here. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I like it. So check it out. If this was outside and I had the motor mount screwed, well, the stepper screwed on and everything, this is how it would look. You see the motor spinning. You definitely need spacers from the bottom of extendo rockets, bottom to the gear. I'm not quite sure how big of a spacer you need, but you definitely need a spacer because you're going to interfere with this gear here if you don't have spacer. So I put the two spacers I have. This is basically a 40mm spacer because I have the 10mm spacer and the 30mm spacer. The 10 here and then the 30 here. This is the bottom. Yeah. So for this particular size of threaded rod, which I'm leaving in the description down below, these parts are too much for the threaded rod. It does not go all the way through this motor mount thing. Let me just lift it up a bit. The threaded rod does not go all the way through the bottom, so I can't screw it in, which is a bit disappointing, but it is what it is. This is so cool though. This is so cool. So in the files there were different gearing ratios. I'm not quite sure what gearing ratio I have here. I think this is a 2:3 gear ratio, 20mm and a 30mm. I'll measure it and put it up on the screen here. But then in the files have provisions for like bigger and bigger gearing ratios. I'm like, why would you need such a big gear ratio? A big gear ratio would make sense if you don't want to use that big of a spacer. If you just want basically the bottom of your extendo rockets bottom to barely clear here, well, you can probably use like a 20mm spacer. Whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I lost my train of thought. Oh yes, I think my train of thought was that you can use a bigger gear, and the motor mount and the motor mount assembly can slide back some. Slide. Why isn't it sliding? There we go. Yeah, it can slide back some so that this doesn't interfere with your gears. So I can slide it all the way back and have it clear. So basically once the bottom of the extendo rocket clears your gear, it should also clear this gear over here. Yes, what else? These thread rods, I did say that these threaded rods are too short for all of these pieces. So if you use my affiliate link and you use this particular size of threaded rod that I leave, you can't use all of these pieces. So I could probably get rid of this piece here, this, what's this, 20mm or 30mm straight piece. I'll get rid of it now through the power of editing. Right, through the power of editing, I have removed this centerpiece. This, however long this is, straight piece. And did I clear the bottom? I don't think so. Just barely. Just barely cleared the bottom. So in your own time, you will have to figure out how long of a threaded rod you have and calculate the total length of all of these parts, because you will definitely need some spacers for the bottom. Definitely need a 40mm spacer at the bottom to clear your gears, for the extender bottom to clear the gears. You definitely need your top piece, which does not account for much. Yes, you'll have to do your own math to figure out how much pieces you need, how many pieces you need. I think I can mount a nut in the bottom. Wow. Okay, let me go grab that nut first. All right, I went and grabbed the nut. We just remove this. Remove the motor carriage. I'm going to keep my spacer. And this is the motor mount nuts bottom. I'm going to put the nut in. I love the tolerances, but I often fear, oh, if I push it in too much, or if I push it all the way in, how do I get it back out? I don't really like the finality of these friction fits parts. It's almost as bad as gluing it. All right, that went. Was I supposed to do that? Something told me I should not have done that. Anyway. And where's my washer? Right, and now I'm basically going to screw it in. Oh, there we go. Whoops. I need to grab the rod and screw the rod into the bolt. Right, that seems locked in. And screw the top in. Anyway, yes, that's the Build a VAWT project. This is the Build a VAWT review. I think I'm going to do a part 2 where I actually, well, no, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to print a bigger gear on this end. I'll print a bigger gear and then I'll screw the stuff in and then stick it outside. Yeah. So big shout out to Christopher from Christopher's Factory for the Build a VAWT project, for doing this Build a VAWT project. I thank you greatly. I now know how to use bearings and how to mount stuff, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Outro, because I don't know how to outro the video. This is cool.